Friday, we're back.
Hey,
How you doing?
still alive.
Still alive. After 2 months, you're still alive.
Hey, somebody needs to do it.
Yep. Whatever you just did sounds better. So, look, I have a new place.
Oh, you're down south now, no?
Technically, I was already south, but I'm more south. Yes. Look, I have a really big monitor behind me. Do you see that?
Why is it shut down?
Well, look. This is the first day I've turned everything on.
Because
I got to figure out what I got to do.
Because it looks like you have very big ears.
I know.
You need some fancy animation.
I need stuff on the screens while we're doing this. I've got other issues. I've got well, I can't even try it right now because we're side by side. Hi, by the way, my name's Darren. This over here is Victor, and we're the host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox. That comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern. I'm having to learn new time zones now. I'm actually Central Time. But I'll keep saying Eastern because I've been doing that for 17 years. And it'll be hard to go back. And on Fridays when we're around, which we haven't been for 2 months. We'll tell the story in a minute. June 28th was our last live show. So here we are. We basically took July and August off.
Already? Oh, yeah.
Huh? And that's okay,
Yeah.
right? We hadn't done that before. And we do the live shows on Friday when we're around. So we're going to try to get back into the rhythm of that. Actually, we're going to be missing a couple here towards the end of the month because Victor's traveling again. Gee, go figure.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
So I moved. We've already said that. I moved from North Carolina to Texas. I survived, barely. And that's all I have to say about that right now. It's a mess in here. What you don't see right outside of the frames is what you will not see right outside the frames. We'll leave it like that. How have you been? You've been all over the place for the past couple months.
Yeah, I've been in China and Japan. Now I'm home for a while and then going off again.
How was
to Norway?
Because you've been to China before, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to China, but kind of saying have you been in China is similar to saying have you been in States, right? This time I was in Hong Kong, so that was my first time in Hong Kong, which is nice. And Tokyo, not the first time. I love Tokyo; it's absolutely amazing.
Tokyo is nice. I've been there once. I'd like to go back. Let's give it. I'm having to relearn everything. Karen, good to see you. My audio is very loud. Okay, so let me see if I can turn mine up here real quick.
By the way, this rarely happens that it's Darin, not me, related to audio. That's new.
I have automatically adjust volume turned on. Hang on a second. How about now? I know it'll catch up here in about 20 seconds. I'm assuming I got louder in your ears when I did that, right?
I haven't noticed the difference, but I never noticed those things. So let the audience speak.
We will let them speak. Yeah, again, same hardware, same everything, better now. Cool. That's weird. I'm just being quiet, I guess. This room is different than the room I was in before. It's just it. It's first time. There is some news for this week. Not a lot, mainly because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Let's just go and get into it. Just because, by the way, Karen, thanks for being here with us live. And everybody else that's here with us live, that's great. I will say, I look really white. I'm getting new lighting and stuff too. The old neighborhood I was in had their fiber turned on this week. The neighborhood I'm living in now has cable, but barely.
So is that the reason why you moved? Kind of like, I cannot enjoy such goodness as having fast internet. I need to go somewhere else.
It's been a challenge. Let's put it this way. When I showed up here on move-in day, the cable guy shows up right as I'm pulling into town. I mean, literally, the truck is in the street. The guys are unloading the truck. I get a call. I'm about 20 minutes out from the house. And the cable guy says, hey, I'm going to be there in about 20 minutes. I went, great, I'll be there too. So that's the very first thing I deal with is, okay, I see the truck, make sure my wife and daughter, everything's going good, everything's fine. So the cable guy's here, and we pop open the panel, and he says, okay, they're doing lots of weird stuff here. So he rips everything out and lays out a new cable to be buried. Now, if you're burying cable, you would expect to have cable that is meant to be buried. Guess what? It was aerial cable. So they buried aerial cable, and I've been having worse problems ever since then. So it comes and goes. So I did bite the bullet, and I did buy Ubiquiti network gear for the house. Like, it's expensive, but now I can actually do things I really need to do, like separate VLANs and everything else. But it automatically tracks my up and down. And let's say it's been more down than up. Okay. Whoop, hit that. So the other thing I've got going on is not everything set up the exact same way. And the monitor that I was getting ready to share just went dark. So I'm going to have to do it off the small screen. So let's try this. And now I've got to figure out how to... There we go. Okay. This week's episode was exploring Grafana Alloy. We talked to Pascalis, who works for Grafana, one of the engineers on Alloy. And it was good. Our first Greek person. Let's see if this will come back on. And I still can't say his name right, and that's okay, because he forgave me, I think. I hope he did. Have you had time to play with Alloy yet in all your spare time these past 2 months?
Not enough to call myself sufficiently knowledgeable about it. I mean, just a bit.
Okay. All right. Well, this is great because now this monitor's gone completely nuts. I saw that during setup, and I haven't been able to track it down. Of course, it happens right during the show, and that's fine. So now I'm just going to drive. Let's see. I put my mouse back over there. Good. All right. So anyway, podcast Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, noon CET. We're getting ready to come up with that wonderful time of year where we go back to standard time. That cannot come soon enough for me. But hey, that's that. Kubernetes 131, now available on GKE just 1 week after it was released. When do you think we'll get day and date?
The record.
I think it is. When do you think it will happen where they release in the morning or whatever the time is, and within 4 hours it'll be on the providers? How long do you think that's going to be?
I don't know. I mean, theoretically, it's possible, right? Because it's not that you're waiting for it. If you're doing the things right, you're testing the beta release. So it can be done. But, does it really matter whether it's there the same day, next week, 2 weeks later? Probably. I mean, if it would be Kubernetes 5 years ago, then some critical features are coming. But I don't think it matters that much now.
That's what I'm thinking too. I've just got to figure out how to get this monitor working. Okay, that's fine. This will be a very short show today if I can't see what I'm doing. Next up was also from GCP. I don't know how I feel about this. This is Google Cloud Run.
Okay.
And on the 3rd, they opened up the ability to do, or they actually now opened it. They made it to where URLs are deterministic. Meaning,
nice.
I'll just click. But see, it's nice, but it's not nice. And here's why I don't like it.
Okay.
We'll go here to deterministic URLs. So it's going to be tag, which you can add in, project number, which is your project number, the service name, and the region. Region doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Tag doesn't bother me as much. But having the project number and the service name in the URL bothers me.
I mean, I'm guessing that they want to make it unique. And just to be clear, I don't think that those URLs are supposed to be publicly accessible, right? It's not what you give your users.
It shouldn't be, correct. So
exactly. That's more like, hey, why would I bother creating a DNS for this thing that is just being accessed by other things?
So I'm thinking in that case, though, to where people were actually publishing that URL, which isn't good. It's just bad. But you can do that. That's the problem is with AWS, when you were doing things like with Elastic Beanstalk, you could change up the URLs were going to change each time you'd remap it. Here, you wouldn't have to remap.
Yeah.
That's the danger to me, is people will do silly things.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you have other, let's say also Google Cloud Run services that want to talk to that service, it's nice to know that there is permanent URL that is not necessarily something that you had to set up.
Yeah, I guess, but it just doesn't feel right to me. But that's just me. So anyway, thought it was interesting. We hadn't seen much from them. Let's go back here real quick. August, they put in mounting NFS volumes and cloud storage buckets. That's actually pretty cool. Being able to mount a bucket directly to Google Cloud Run,
yeah,
is very useful. So just the storage. I mean, why do I need Kubernetes now? If I'm on Google, why do I need Kubernetes?
I would rephrase kind of, why do you need Kubernetes if you're a smaller company? Right? I mean, when we talk about bigger companies, then all sorts of optimizations and special things and things like that come into play, right? Where Kubernetes is great. So I wouldn't discard it for bigger companies, but you say, hey, we are 30, 50, 40, 60 engineers. Yeah, go for Cloud Run or equivalent in other provider.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have, I'm looking at your picture right now. Do you have a teleprompter on the front of your camera?
Yeah, and you have a white page, yes, that is reflecting it.
Okay. Just making sure.
If that's what you're referring to.
That's what, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So, okay, good. I just want to make sure that's what's happening. Okay. Everything's white today. I couldn't find any dark modes. I was trying to find dark because I have even worse problems. That's the upside of this monitor being down right now. The one to my left is this is bad enough. So you sent this to me.
Oh, it's so amazing. I love that article. I mean, you don't have to read it. You just have to look at those graphs and realize that none of the companies who changed the license benefited from it, right? So if you look at revenue, you can say, hey, and by the way, those vertical lines, that's a moment in time when they changed the license, right?
Right.
So nothing drastically changed. They continue having increased revenue, but the lines are more or less flat. So it's not that, hey, now after this happened, our revenue jumped a lot, right? It's pretty flat. I mean, flat upward, right? Then if you go down, there we go. That's a wrong one. Go down, another one, because another one is normalized. There we go, right? Market cap change over time. So kind of which of those companies benefited from changing the license, except the first one, which I believe would be MongoDB, right?
Correct.
So kind of HashiCorp definitely didn't strike gold for doing that, except making everybody mad. Elastic also didn't benefit from it. And Confluent doesn't count because there is no data, right?
Right. So you just thought this was a really good post.
Yeah, because it kind of demystifies that. And so the story that I had, let's say I'm going to use Kashik because it's the most recent, right? You're changing the license as a way for you to figure out what you're doing wrong, which is a wrong thing to do, right? I'm not necessarily against commercial projects. Actually, I think that everybody needs to earn money somehow and pay people to do whatever they're doing, including open source. But to me, it felt that Hashi is changing the license simply because they exhausted any other possibility and idea how to monetize on what they have. And that did not work, right? That did not convert open source users to commercial customers. And now we have graphs to prove it in a way.
Right.
I mean, look at that net income change over time. That's flat, give or take.
Flat to down.
Yeah.
If you were to really take a look at it. So, okay. Links for everything in today's show, by the way, are, did I publish it before? I didn't. I forgot to publish it before. My bad. Sorry. Again, 2 months. I forgot how to do everything. I forgot how to work just after 2 weeks. That was the other thing.
See, you should never stop.
I wasn't. That was the problem. I hadn't stopped. Let's pull up Karen's comment. The Grafana has also changed some of their license from Apache to AGPL as they try to balance. Correct. Now, it's interesting you bring that up because Elastic this week announced they are going to also be offering a GPL.
Yeah, they're going back.
Sort of.
I thought that AGPL is more permissive than whatever they had before.
Before they went to SSPL, they were Apache
No,
licensed.
I mean, compared to what they have now, or
Now,
they had
yeah.
until recently, yeah.
Correct. It is more permissive, but it's not Apache licensed, which is what they were before they went SSPL, I think.
No, and I feel that those conversations about licenses are very valid, and we might easily come to a conclusion that open source is not the path to go, right? I don't know that yet. But what I'm sure is that changing the license does not automatically make your failed business successful. That's the whole point I'm trying to make.
Yep. Okay. So that was from Red Monk. Let's see what we have here. A couple of... I thought this was pretty funny. Where's the worst place to leave your secrets? Somebody did research by putting in a token and just left it in public. Where do you think it would have been, Victor, as I catch you as you mute?
Token left in public.
Yep.
Detected by GitHub?
Not detected by GitHub. So this guy on purpose put a token, not valid, but a valid token, validly formed token. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And deployed canary tokens in various public places, logged all access attempts, and discovered patterns. 121 total attempts. 50% of tokens were stolen. 60% of the 60 hours average time to first access attempt. Unique IP address. This is 45 unique IP addresses and 33 unique agents. Okay, canary token. Basically, just making a canary. If you're familiar with the canary in a coal mine, you send the canary in. If they don't come back out, they're dead. Right? You just don't go in there.
Yep.
So that's what he's doing here with token. And this is actually something you can test as well if you want to. So here's he goes through all the motivation. Here are the results. That's what we really want to take a look at. So code and image repositories. Did that. Docker Hub, he created something, an image that had a token in it. Let's see. He goes through all the different things. I'm trying to get to the results. Anyway, I think
summary of the summary.
Yeah, I need the summary of the summary. Because it's somewhere, maybe it was at the bottom. Package managers. This was the NPM. Where was the... Okay. This was the fun one. Fun? NPM. Where was it? That was NPM. Where
there
was
you
it?
go.
Following diagram shows the number of access attempts npm.js and PyPy per hour after releasing them to public. Like in the 0 hour, it was already being accessed.
Yeah. And there must be bots that are actually continuously monitoring those things.
Yeah. Oh, here, this is what I was looking for. Fastest access times. So basically, as soon as it hit, how long did it take before first access came in? NPM less than 60 seconds. PyPy less than 2 minutes. GitHub 2 minutes-ish. Pastebin was 50 minutes. Web server 47 hours. And Docker Hub 7 days.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense that the first three are actually if I would be looking for those things, I would probably start with GitHub and then the package repositories, right?
Yeah. Good post. If you have the time to create canaries, go for it. He goes into, there's lots of data. Lots of data. Things that surprised him.
Let me see you get permission from your company to do it.
Yeah. So the things that surprised him. No access to attempts on Bitbucket or GitLab.
Because why would you waste time on them to search for those things?
So by stating that, it's like, oh, okay, then stop using GitHub and just go use GitLab or Bitbucket.
Yeah, if you want more secure, kind of like nobody's looking into those things.
That's not true, but we can infer things. Amazed that NPM was less than a minute. That to me, that is pretty amazing. But anyway,
Because if you're looking for library repositories for libraries, you want to have non-compiled languages, right? Because it's so much easier to detect stuff.
Yep. Okay, that was that. One other post I found here, The Hater's Guide to Kubernetes.
Okay.
This is me. Now, it's a little bit older. It's from March of this year. I might gripe about Kubernetes sometimes, but it's a really great piece of technology. Highly recommend it to all my competitors. Using Kubernetes with a small team is seen as a sign of over-engineering. This is what you were just saying a few minutes ago about GCR.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, I do think that, so I probably said this many times before, but Kubernetes is without a doubt the best platform to do certain things. And you're a fool if you're using Kubernetes without the need for those things.
I was getting ready to try to reboot my thing to get my monitor back, but you didn't give me enough time. So anyway, why use it at all? To run multiple processes, servers, schedule jobs, run them redundantly, configure them. Right. It's just a layer of abstraction that lets you think about a pool of computers as if it was one computer. Probably one of the best sentences I've seen about Kubernetes.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that statement? I mean, it feels like it is. Basic.
I think that once you dig deep into Kubernetes, I think that extensible API is the first thing that comes to my mind rather than pool of computers. But yes,
okay,
it's there.
Fair enough. And it's about the company. It's a service for dynamically spinning up processes that a web app can talk to. Kind of like Lambda, but not Lambda. Anyway, they talk about how
so
they
what
use
do they
things.
use? Wait,
This is what
there
they
is
use.
things. Okay,
Yeah.
what do they? That's things they use in Kubernetes, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
deployment services, cron jobs, config maps, and secrets. Right. Those are all fundamental.
Exactly. Those are the things you cannot. I mean, you might avoid using cron jobs and config maps, but deployments and services, without them, you're not using anything.
Right. Things they use cautiously, stateful sets and PVCs,
Yeah.
and RBAC. RBAC is a challenge.
Yeah, that's why we use GitHubs.
Things we actively avoid, handwriting YAML,
True. I agree.
not built-in resources and operators.
I think that, I mean, kind of, if you're not going to use stateful set or try to avoid it, you avoid it by using operator that does the better job.
Right. Helm.
You know my opinion about Helm. Big yeah.
Anything with mesh in the name.
Yeah. I mean, comes later, let's say. That falls into the category, do you need it? If you do need it, great. But you probably don't.
This is interesting. Trying to replicate the entire... I skipped ingress for a second because we'll get to that in a minute. Trying to replicate the entire Kubernetes stack locally. Instead of trying to use K3s or Kind, we just use Docker Compose.
I think that's a waste of time.
I think so too.
Because kind of, if you already have everything defined, isn't it easier to spin up K3s and apply the same thing that you're running in production? Maybe not scaled down version of what you're then maintain separate Docker Compose. I think it's a waste of time.
I've been using Rancher Desktop, and that's been fine for 99% of the things I need to do, which is a wrapper on K3s.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And I've used Kind as well. I don't know why I tend to like the Rancher Desktop experience a little bit better.
Yeah, but whichever of those you use, I don't see the point in rewriting the same thing in a different format for a different environment. I think that's dangerous.
But initially he said nothing about ingress, but then he updated his mind on ingress.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the alternative to using ingress and or gateway API is to say, hey, every service is going to expose a port.
Which is even
every
worse.
Public service, which is worse.
Or
even bad, or even worse is that every service is going to be load balancer service, meaning that every service or every application is going to create a separate load balancer if you're in cloud.
Oh.
That's the even more worse than worse option, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you need Ingress. Now Ingress has its faults, but it's better than the alternatives.
Yep. Humans should never wait for a pod. I mean, yes.
What does he mean by never wait?
Ephemeral interactive session-lived processes. We could realize is designed for robustness and modularity over container start times. Yes. Because remember, they're sort of doing a Lambda-ish thing. Like,
I mean, if they're doing Lambda-ish thing, I strongly suggest doing Lambda.
I mean, cold start is a thing. Cold start will always be a thing unless you have a process always running.
But so I tend to, when we talk about services, right? Serverless, some form or another. I tend to distinguish between batch-like jobs. Oh, I need to process an image or a video every once in a while, right? And normal applications running as serverless, right? Now, the problem with the latter case with Lambda is that to me, it makes zero sense for an application that receives decent traffic to have one instance per request. And of course you have problem with cold start, but that problem is the problem with the model itself. Hey, every Lambda is a separate instance. That makes no sense, or whichever tool you're using. It makes so much more sense to say, hey, this application, singular replica can handle, 100 requests, 1,000 requests, 10,000 concurrent requests, whatever the number is. And then you scale up and down based on that, not one for each request. Unless we're talking about something happening sporadically.
I tried to reboot. It still didn't reboot the monitor. I don't know what's going on. I'll deal with that later. Anyway, I can at least see this. So anyway, for completeness, higher level abstractions, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the thing I like...
Is it positive towards higher level abstractions or negative?
Let's see. I'll also mention some of the Kubernetes alternatives that are quite good, particularly if you don't want or need requirement number 3, whatever that was, the ability to specify infrastructure as code. They used Railway instead of Kubernetes cluster for maintaining preview environments. Okay, render, flight controls.
I mean, I don't know all those, but I do agree that if you can use and afford a service that is closer to what you need, like Railway, hey, I think you should do it. I mean, to me, that's a similar thing like when people complain about running databases. Use database as a service. I think it's great. I mean, not all of them are great, right? But some are. Yeah, Railway. If Railway does what you need it to do, why bother with Kubernetes? Please don't. And if you can afford it, of course.
And if you can afford it. Okay. So, again, link to that will be down in the show notes later. Sorry, I forgot to do that early. And my internet is showing bad, so we'll see how much longer I go. Okay. Your video this week on mastering terminal multiplex. Why not just use tmux?
Zellij is kind of more user-friendly, right?
Wait. You're saying that tmux is not user-friendly? That's a snark.
Sacrilege, yes. It's not terribly hard, right? But with Zellij, I think that one gets more or less the same results. Maybe you don't have such extensibility like tmux, but I'm not sure what would I miss in Zellij, right? And you can literally get up to speed with it in 5 minutes, less time than watching this video.
I didn't even watch the video. Is it open source?
It's open source, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean the nice thing, and I don't say this often. Simply, you have all the commands they're all the commands at the bottom, and depending on what you're doing, they're changing. So you can always see in a moment kind of what you need to click or press to accomplish something related to whichever task or operation you're trying to do, right? Now, over time, I removed those those shortcuts, visual shortcuts, right? Because, okay, I'll learn Zellij, but until then, it's really nice.
So that is Zellij. So Victor has videos coming out on Mondays. We have the podcast on Wednesday. We're here on Fridays. Tuesday, I saw that you were working with Whitney again on Enlightening started up again on Tuesday, right?
So there is something every day except Thursday. Actually, next Tuesday we will not do it because we foolishly decided second episode is supposed to be next Tuesday, and it's supposed to be about standards like OTel, OpenTelemetry, and Prometheus. And it was very foolish of us because next week is PromCon. So guess how many people can come to join as guests?
0.
Yeah, so we're postponing it for the week after next. But other than that, yes, every Tuesday adventure.
So this adventure season is about observability, correct?
Yes, it's all about observability. We started with the least observable part, the dashboards, how do you see pods and deployments and what's not. And then we're going towards standards, metrics, logs, traces, all the good things. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Thursdays. You need to start up your live stream again on Thursdays.
Is that not a good idea?
You can. It's your choice.
No, but I see that there is a secret message in your voice, but I'm not sure what it is.
Well, it'd just be one more thing to add to your already long list.
That one is easy. The Monday videos are hardest for me, right? Because that's days of work. The rest is relatively straightforward.
So what do you have coming up? You've got KubeCon in November.
Yeah, I'm going to Norway and Portugal between now and November, and then Salt Lake City.
So actually, you don't have that many more trips this year.
No, 3 more trips.
Wow. Okay, I guess we do need to do something.
Yeah, and I'm really looking towards, I don't want to go to US cities I've been many times before. So Salt Lake sounds like a new adventure.
Yep, it'll be cold. When is that? 3rd week of November?
Something like that.
You might see snow. I'm telling you.
I understood it's around that place is one of the best places to ski, which I don't.
It is.
But I understand it's exciting, but probably maybe too early for people.
It's going to be probably just a bit early. But who knows? Anything can happen.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to be the show today because not much. We're still trying to figure out how to do this again.
Yeah.
By the way, if you've got ideas for the podcast, we are booking people. We've got this year already pretty much booked out. We're starting to book for next year. I think we have 1 slot left open for this year that we haven't planned for. So if you have people you want to hear from, go to the Slack workspace, go to the, Hub podcast. We're watching it all. It's not a very active, actually, let's rephrase that. It's comfortably active, right? There's just enough there, right? It's not like you're missing. It's like if you come and look today and you come back tomorrow or even a week later, you'll be able to catch up pretty easily. It's not like your standard Slack where, okay, I was out for 3 days. Okay, now I need to spend the next 3 hours sifting through things. No, that's not the way our workspace is. Give us some ideas, or even for Friday ideas. We will, remember before we quit doing this in June? And we were doing AI stuff usually right here at the end of the show. We were testing things out.
Okay.
Have you been seeing a lot of AI stuff over the past couple of months? I mean,
I see
compared to what we saw, it feels like it's trailing off.
It's calming down, but now whenever somebody, I have a couple of calls a week on average, different projects, products, can you take a look and tell me what you think? And there is always some AI there somewhere. I don't think that companies are pitching it anymore as, because I feel that now I'm not talking about cloud native space, right? Many projects transitioned from, we are doing X to now we're doing AI. And I feel that they're giving up on we are primarily AI company, going back to, we are doing, I don't know, ephemeral environments, and there is AI.
It's like blockchain, right? It's like, okay, we're doing blockchain, and now, no, we'll go back the other way.
Because AI, when you think about it, I don't think that we have, and I'm not talking about what we do, DevOps or Cloud Native, I don't think that we got to the point that there is a real use case for AI just yet. I mean, there are funky things. I want to try this service to generate an image and stuff like that. But then that does not become my daily driver. Like, maybe generating some text, but it's, code, some more intelligent code completion. I mean, it's not that I use it, but we haven't seen the life did not change yet.
Well, it hasn't affected us yet. It's not like,
I mean, I'm trying to argue that it hasn't affected nobody yet on a kind of to say, like, hey, nobody's walking 24/7 with Meta Ray-Ban glasses, looking at trees and asking which type of the tree it is.
Even though those do look really cool, I have to admit.
I mean, I would buy it if it wouldn't be Meta. That's the only reason why I don't have it. I don't have Meta account, man. I don't know what I would. I don't know even whether it would work.
I do have a Meta account, but I try to never use it. It's because they look good. I mean, that's what Google Glass should have been.
Yeah. I mean, Google Glass was too early, right?
Too early.
Huh. I mean, I would argue that this is too early as well. Yeah. The main usage I can imagine for those glasses for people who take a lot of pictures, and I don't. But I'm not sure that it would probably not take me more than a week before I start asking glasses, what is this? What am I looking at right now? Is it a dog or is it a cat?
Yeah.
Is it my cat or somebody else's cat?
Speaking of pictures, the new iPhone announcement is this coming Monday.
Okay.
So we'll see. I don't think it'll make any difference to us. But there might be some interesting things happening next week. I don't know. It might be October. Because there's if the rumors become true and the new Mac Minis are more like an Apple TV, like puck size.
Okay.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, even I'm not going to go Mac Mini, but even Studio. Anything smaller than Studio is great, but it's not really make me buy it more.
Right.
Kind of, they're already so compact, Studio or Mini, that, hey, if you make it smaller, cool. But I would not buy it. That will not affect my decision to buy it, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it would affect
similar
me
like when I was complaining that, hey, you remember when they tried to make very, very thin Intel laptops? That was like 5 years ago, and I was like, I don't mind if it's a bit wider, right? Kind of that's not the main reason why I'm buying it.
I want power.
Yeah.
I want disk. I want good network.
So yeah, if I got pack edition of Mac Mini,
yep,
and it turns up to have instead of useless 500 gigabytes of disk 256 or something like that, I'm going to freak out.
Yeah.
Or kind of what are they going to reduce it from 8, go back to 8 gigabytes of memory or something like that? I don't know.
Then you might as well have a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough of this. So we'll be back next week. I think it's the next week that we're off. I have to look at the calendar again because you do have a trip coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, I need to check. I sometimes block the whole day, but I might be. Okay, I'll ping you later after the show.
Yeah, that's fine. No big deal. All right. Thanks, everybody. Today was a little rough around the edges. We should get a little bit better next week. But
yeah,
we'll have more news. I'll be more looking at the news. I haven't looked at the news that much. Moving is an all-consuming thing. That's how I'll leave it there. Thanks for joining us live, and we'll talk to you later.